Western media are increasingly discussing the possible resignation of Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov following the failure of talks with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the breakdown of Putin-Trump talks in Budapest. However, the likelihood of such a scenario remains minimal. Russian opposition politician and former State Duma deputy Ilya Ponomarev explained this in an interview with Glavred. He noted that Putin was indeed dissatisfied with Lavrov's actions, and this was confirmed by numerous informed sources. That is to say, he didn't like it, that's for sure. But I disagree with those who say it was all done intentionally or deliberately. No, Putin was genuinely counting on meeting with Trump in Budapest, he said. He also emphasized that Lavrov has long been seeking to resign, as his financial situation is stable, his son-in-law is well off, he has no financial difficulties, and his work has recently become too stressful. Therefore, it would be incorrect to say he is clinging to his position. At the same time, Lavrov suits Putin perfectly, who is generally very cautious about personnel changes. Even when deciding on rotation, he avoids steps that could be seen as punishment or a response to pressure. Therefore, if Lavrov is at risk of losing his position, it certainly won't be now. And finally, the whole Security Council thing was more of a show for the Americans. Putin wanted to demonstrate that Lavrov had overstepped his bounds and shown too much initiative, and that this didn't reflect the Kremlin's position. That's why they drew attention and leaked information to Western media about Lavrov's absence from the Security Council meeting. The message was, who is Lavrov? We don't know any Lavrov. These are the people who actually make decisions. And Lavrov, well, you dreamed about him. That was the goal. He concludes. The 76-year-old diplomat who has headed the Russian Foreign Ministry for more than 2 decades did not attend a key meeting of the Russian Security Council on November the 5th, where Putin discussed the possible resumption of nuclear testing, which ceased in 1990. According to a Kommersant source, Lavrov's absence was agreed upon, but he was the only permanent member of the Security Council to miss this key meeting. At the same time, Lavrov lost his position as head of the Russian delegation to the G20 summit. This year, it will be headed by Deputy Chief of Staff of the Presidential Administration, Maxim Oreshkin. Kremlin Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov announced on Thursday. According to Peskov, the decision to appoint Oreshkin was made by Putin, the report states. Thus, the Russian dictator and war criminal has once again avoided attending the G20 summit, which is being held this year in South Africa, a state that has ratified the Rome Statute and is obligated to arrest Putin under the International Criminal Court warrant. Because of the same warrant, he missed the 2025 BRICS summit in Brazil and the 2020 G20 meeting in Bali. In both cases, the Russian delegation was headed by Sergey Lavrov.
A video has been shared in social media, showing the moment of the deadly Russian missile and drone strike on a residential area in Ternopil city in western Ukraine on the night leading to November 19. 9 strikes were registered during the attack captured in the video, according to local Telegram channels. A large Russian drone and missile barrage killed 10 people and injured dozens more in Ukraine overnight, officials said Wednesday, as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was due in Turkey for talks on finding a settlement that might end Russia's invasion of his country. All the 10 dead were in Ternopil, Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko said. The nighttime attack hit 2 9-story apartment blocks in Ternopil, according to Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko. Emergency crews were sifting through the rubble in daylight to find any survivors, he said. The upper floors of the residential building in Ternopil were torn away in the attack. At least 37 people were reported injured, including 12 children. Russia fired 476 strike and decoy drones, as well as 48 missiles of various types, at Ukrainian targets overnight, Ukraine's Air Force said. President Zelensky confirmed multi-story residential buildings had been hit in Ternopil, and said others may be trapped under the rubble. Every brazen attack against ordinary life indicates that the pressure on Russia to stop the war is insufficient, Zelensky wrote on the messaging app Telegram. He called on Ukraine's allies to step up pressure on the Kremlin to end its war of invasion in Ukraine.
Звідки багато? Не. Диви. Оле, багато. Ось. Ось. Диви. Ось. Звідки багато? Не. Ось. Диви. Оле, багато. Ось. Ось. Диви. Ось.